Okay, we are live. I'm just going to check really quickly to see if we are actually live in the group
Okay.
and give people time to join us.
Alrighty.
Oh yes, we're live. Okay.
Okay.
So, we are finally able to have a moment that we can share information with the city of South Fulton, I would say as a whole, and from the retrospect of South Fulton has multiple cities, but
Mm-hmm.
you specifically are connected to the city of South Fulton's Convention and Visitors Bureau. That's what CVB stands for.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that I was intrigued. I didn't know that that segment had gotten up and running in the city of South Fulton. So, why don't you first start by introducing yourself? Tell us a little bit about your role and give us some information about the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for having me, first of all. Um, and my name is Kathryn Earley, and I am the newest, and I say newest because I'll give you a little bit of background on that in a moment. Tourism manager for the City of South Fulton Convention and Visitors Bureau. So I also am a resident, so this position is very near and dear to my heart. I started with the Convention and Visitors Bureau late last year, um, and it has been quite the roller coaster. Just because tourism itself is an industry that it requires you to always be kind of on the go and at the ready, so to
Mhm.
speak. But that's what makes it so much fun and so enjoyable as a resident. So, as the tourism manager, it's my job to promote and highlight the city and all of our attractions, also known as assets in the tourism industry. So, that would include anything and everything that you might, as a resident, come to enjoy. So, that includes the Southwest Center, that includes the Wolf Creek Golf Club, South Fulton Tennis Center. All of those different locations are what's considered attractions that a visitor might want to come and enjoy, but also something that as a resident you would want to enjoy as well. So, but it can also be our parks. It can be our horse farms. We have a couple different horse farms, and even part of my job and what I'm learning now is how to think creatively about assets that we may not have thought were assets previously. Like a
Mhm.
festival could be considered an asset because we want to encourage not only our residents to enjoy those festivals and events, but people from outside the community so they can see what we have to offer, i.e., Taste of Soul Food last weekend. I was out at the Taste of Soul Food at the Southwest Arts Center, and I had a table and I was doing giveaways with local vendors, excuse me, local business owners, and it was just a really good way to kind of be introduced to the community. There were people from all over South Fulton, meaning South Fulton County, as well as some from some outlying counties as well. So it was a really good time. So that's pretty much what I do as the tourism manager.
It sounds like you just have a lot of fun.
I
This does not sound
can't.
like a bad job at all,
You
okay?
know what I have learned in a very short amount of time with and with people in the tourism industry, we really truly do have the best jobs in the world,
Hmm.
because we get to promote all the positives that our city
Exactly.
has to offer. We don't have to kind of get into the negatives, but we get to promote and highlight all the wonderful things happening, as well as have an impact with economic development, right? So if people that live in the city, our residents, enjoy living here, that's going
Mhm.
to encourage business owners and companies to want to develop business here, which then in turn will bring visitors here. So it's all cyclical. And so it really is the best job in the world to be able to promote and highlight the city you live in. I'm truly blessed to have stumbled upon this position for sure.
Absolutely. And one of the members in Safer Communities said that, and I find this intriguing being from here, from Atlanta,
Hmm.
moving out in this area about, I don't know, 10, maybe 15 years ago when it was unincorporated, to see it evolve into a city and just see where we are right now. We don't realize how many people are living here that aren't even from here.
Hmm.
And so,
Hmm.
in Safer Communities, one of the interesting points she made was, and this hasn't been occurring probably for a lot of families due to the pandemic, but she was thinking about having a family reunion here, and I was thinking,
Hmm.
well, this is a great opportunity for us to, even
Hmm.
mention this during this live stream, because as I sit here and think about how would I've planned my family reunion before for
Right.
my family years ago,
Hmm.
and had
Yep.
a tour bus, not a tour
Hmm.
bus, Lord, I'm thinking about
A motor
concert.
coach.
Had a motor
A motor
coach,
coach. Yep.
go
Hmm.
down and pick up my family members and brought them to the Stone Mountain Hotel and Resort,
Yep.
and they had a blast. Do we
Hmm.
have do we have something similar? Do we have a hotel here? Do we have facilities that they can, bring things together for families? I know you talked about the parks and
Hmm.
recs. Like, I was thinking the other
Yep.
day, we probably can help somebody plan their family reunion now.
Yes. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that. So part of my job as well is to help people understand what we do have to offer in that space. So I've been working with a mentor of mine who works with another huge CVB in the metro area, and I
Mhm.
want to plan family reunion workshops. And that is precisely
Mm.
what we do is we say, hey, if you want to have a family reunion, here are the resources that you need. We have a hotel. It's on Ella Lane, right off of Highway 74. Most people don't even know that it's the city of South Fulton, but we do have a
Wow.
hotel. It's a Fairfield Inn and Suites, and we're building two more, and they will be online by the end of next year. So we're very, very
Wow.
excited about that. Yes. So, and they have small meeting space that is perfect for a family reunion. And so
Mm.
it's just a matter of collaborating with our transportation partners, which we have a couple in the city. And,
Mhm.
but part of my job is to find out what other partners we have that would help to create a weekend for a family. So you
Right.
could do the horse farm, you could do a driving range event at, you know,
At the golf range?
activity at the golf range. Yes, I couldn't
Mhm.
spit it out. But yes,
Mhm.
so there's a few different things that you can do that could fill up that weekend very easily in the city of South Fulton. Absolutely.
And I like that, because what I'm hearing is there's an opportunity for businesses who maybe haven't registered with the Convention and Visitors
Hmm.
Bureau. Is there a process for businesses to be on a list so that they can be recommended for groups as they come to the city to do business with the city of South Fulton?
There is currently not, but a good way to get connected first is to get connected with the South Fulton Chamber of Commerce. That's a great
Okay.
way to get connected with us. But also, that's part of my job. And again, what's what's really amazing about the position that I'm in is, City of South Fulton is very new. So by extension, the Convention and Visitors Bureau is very new.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, this position kind of fell into my lap. So I'm really building from the ground up. So, that can be good and bad, but just to, I just want to be transparent. But with that, we are working on engaging our business community. So, who are our business owners?
Mhm.
Patronizing those businesses so they know who I am. We have an
Exactly.
original hot dog factory that just opened, right? And so, part of my job is to make sure that those businesses know that I'm here and
Mhm.
I'm here as a resource. And one of the things that I plan to do before the end of the summer, I'm working with the city of Fairburn, is to do a business mixer for any small business owners. Because, you have the Tri Cities mixer, and that includes East Point, College Park, Hapeville. But we don't have one for kind of the southwest side of the airport. So that's our
Okay.
goal, is to connect our business community so they can, who each other, who they are, and they can connect and collaborate and partner, and we can work to elevate the area as a whole.
I like that idea a lot because we often don't hear about the good things, right? We don't hear
Mm-hmm.
about was well in this group, especially because we have been
Mm-hmm.
talking about ways that we can be safe. And so unfortunately, crime is just not always a positive thing. But one way
Mm-hmm.
I feel that this segment can be helpful is if we can help residents figure out how to utilize the resources that are available to them here in the city
Mm-hmm.
that they
Mm-hmm.
really don't know about, haven't heard about, and then help them find a way to get the kids involved a little more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm when I heard you talk about the hot dog factory, I was thinking, ooh, that's jobs available potentially for some young people. Who else would be
Yep.
better to serve hot dogs than young people?
Yep.
um,
Yep.
and it's just so many ways that I can see this evolving. And you mentioned a lot of the different attributes. A horse, did you say a horse farm park or a horse park?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
There's
We
some
have a
hidden
couple different
jewels
ones.
and gems out
There
here.
are. Yes.
There's even a place you can take your kids to go fishing that I don't think a lot of
Yes.
people are aware of. You mentioned
Yes.
tennis, golf. There's no reason why these kids shouldn't have something to do,
Yep.
on the weekends.
Yep.
But look, we just helped somebody plan their family reunion right here on the phone,
We
right here on the
did.
phone.
We literally just did. And like the room at our hotel currently right now, usually family reunions are about a year out, but with the hotel, it can hold about 60 or 70 people in a banquet room. So between
Mm,
the hotel and the banquet space, that's typically what you need. And then you can do the motor coach to take them around to do various activities. And we
right.
would love to keep them in the city, but we understand if there's other activities that they need to,
Mhm.
they might want to utilize. But going back to letting people know, one of the things that we kind of talked about before was doing a tour. So I'm actually getting some training now as we speak on motor coach tours, and just even if it's not necessarily a motor coach, but touring, letting our residents, getting our elected officials and our residents on a bus or a minivan, or not a minivan, a 15 passenger van, and
Mhm.
taking them to our different assets and our different destinations within the city, so they know what we have available, between the restaurants and our parks and recreation assets, and the horse farms and just all the different things that we have available. Wolf Creek is coming back online, which we're very excited about. So
Yes.
all those different things are all assets that we want our residents to really use. And tourism is not just for visitors, right? There's
Mhm.
community facing tourism, that is community engagement, it's workforce development, it's economic development. Those are all the things that we have, that is important to the tourism industry.
Absolutely. And I'm even sitting here thinking about how groups can turn the hotel usage into a small retreat,
Mm-hmm.
for small groups of the youth in the community, because
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes our kids, they're not always exposed, I would
Mm-hmm.
say. Sometimes they have to, leave the city to be exposed to certain
Yep.
things, but they can
Mm-hmm.
host meetings and events, it sounds like, at this
Mm-hmm.
hotel that's right here in the city of South Fulton. Do they
Yep.
have a restriction on food that can be brought in, or do they have their
Nope,
own
you can bring
catering?
in your own food. That's the other thing.
What?
So when
Oh
I
my.
had a personal event myself, and
Mhm.
we had about 50 people, and we brought in our own caterer, and it was a great event, and it was a perfect size for the number of people that we needed. We had round tables and about
Mhm.
8 or 9 people at each table, and it was great, and it didn't break the bank, so, and it was in my community, and people were
Yeah.
like, oh well, this is, we didn't even know this was back here. I've driven past
Mm.
this intersection a million times and had no idea this hotel is literally right here. So,
What
yeah.
district is it in? I can't even envision it in my head right now.
So and I'm embarrassed that I don't know off the top of my head, but I believe it is 5, if I'm not mistaken.
5?
But
Okay.
please charge it to my
Okay.
head. Please don't
Oh, no,
don't. I will
it's no
find
problem.
out for sure. But no, but I should know, because that's a question that people have been asking now. They're like, well, what district is it? And I'm like, you know
Mhm.
what? Our lines are so, they're a little bit eh,
Jagged.
crazy, so
Yeah.
so to know for certain, I will find out though.
Okay. It's no, I
Hmm.
know, no problem because I mean, it's not like you've been in this role for a whole entire year.
Hmm.
Actually, it's been a few months, so I don't hold it
It
against
has.
you at all.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to generalize, in my mind, kind of envision where it is. So that's good to
Yep.
know. I mean, it's rare that hotels will allow you to bring in
Hmm.
outside food. So y'all,
Yes.
y'all need to take
Yep.
advantage of this now.
Yes, yeah. So if you go down I-75 and you get off on the Fairburn exit, Highway
Mhm.
74, and you turn left, there's going to be a Chick-fil-A and a McDonald's, and it
Mhm.
sits behind that. So it's kind of like if you keep going down 74, you'll start to go towards Tyrone, but obviously we're not going that far.
I
But
see.
that's where it is. Hmm.
Okay. And
And
what
then,
is
like I
the
said, two
name?
more being built. Oh, I'm sorry. Hmm.
We do have a question. What is the name of the hotel again?
It's a Fairfield Inn and Suites by Marriott.
Someone's at the front door doorbell. Fairfield Suites. Okay.
Yep.
Um, by Marriott.
Fairfield
Oh,
Inn
so
and
I can
Suites
use
by
my
Marriott.
Marriott rewards.
You sure can. You
Do they
sure
have a
can.
pool? Look, do they have a pool?
You know what? I don't know if they have a pool. I have to
No worry,
confirm
I'm gonna
that.
look them up. What's the okay? It's the
It,
Fairfield Inn.
yep, it's
I'm gonna type this up.
7775 Ella Lane.
Okay, 7775 Ella Lane. Oh my goodness, I've got to
Yep.
check this out myself. I'm gonna
Hmm.
look. I'm gonna
Yep.
be selfish and doing my
That's
research
fine.
on this because
That's
it
fine.
sounds like it would be a good hotel for a small,
Yep,
small
a
to
small
medium
group.
size
Absolutely.
group a or a family reunion, especially. But
Absolutely.
I'm even
Hmm.
thinking I've heard a lot of people say, "Hey, I've been trying to have something for my friends, or
Hmm.
something in general for my kids to do." And I
Hmm.
can just feel a retreat would be a good option for that
Yep.
space as well.
Yep. So when
Um,
we have the when the HBCU National Tennis Championships come, typically they've been it's been the host hotel for the last couple of years, so we're very happy about that, and we're knocking on wood. We're planning for that now, and
mhm.
hoping that will happen again in September. And so we have a long-standing partnership with the hotel, and they we work very well together. The director of sales and the general manager and I, we meet regularly to figure out ways that we can, promote the hotel because really I'm an extension of the sales team. That's really my
Mhm.
function.
Yeah.
So we work together to sell the hotel as an option for people and
Well, honey,
groups.
I am going to
Hmm.
look them up with my Marriott rewards.
Yes, please do. Please do.
And once if I find out they have a pool, OMG, y'all. And it's the summertime.
Yeah.
Um, so that's a good segue into someone who may want to have a golf tournament and they want to
Yes.
come to the city of South Fulton. I can see them staying at this
Yes.
hotel and then having their tournament at Wolf
Absolutely.
Creek.
Yes. So we recently hosted Greenwood Whiskey, which is a Black-owned whiskey brand, and the co-founders actually are residents of the city of South Fulton. So they
Oh,
hosted their inaugural golf event, sort of their introduction to the city at the Wolf Creek Golf Club. Let's see,
mhm.
what's today? Thursday, so it would have been a little over a week ago. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It was the Tuesday after Memorial Day. Yep, it was a Tuesday after Memorial. So last Tuesday. And it was
Hmm.
a great event. We were able to sponsor some light bites, and several of their folks came out and we just enjoyed the golf course. It was a great day. We had some whiskey. They had some cigars out, and
Oh,
it was just a really nice
cigars.
event. It really, really was. And my goal is to continue to work with the general manager of Wolf Creek as well. He's a wonderful young man, and to continue to work with him to bring more golf tournaments because that's exactly the purpose. Just the similar function as the tennis center. You can bring
Mhm.
groups in to have their tournament. They can stay for a day or two, and then go back home, and they would have had a great time. So we're working on that and trying to figure out the ways that we can, sell the golf club and get some more folks in there because it does stay busy. That it really does. doesn't need a lot of help because it does stay kind of booked and busy, but still, we work. That's one of our assets, and I do what I can to help them in any way that that I can. So
That's awesome. I mean, it sounds like you're on your way. You're starting up several different ways that businesses can find out about ways they can do business here in the city.
hmm
And, the purpose of tonight was to help citizens find out about all the different avenues and options that are here from a business perspective. We don't have to always, go to other cities
hmm
to do what we may think we want to do when we
hmm
find out what we actually have here.
yep.
As you continue to evolve, what are I would say, the short term and some of your long term goals?
So some of the short-term goals will include, like I said, really engaging the business community.
Mhm.
That's one of the things that I really want to do because, I stopped by one of our businesses who they're on Old National, but they're not involved with the Old National Merchants Association, right?
Mhm.
So things like that, letting them know, hey, there is an organization designed specifically for you as a business owner in your area, that the area you service, that you may want to get involved in, that can help promote you and help you as a business owner. Some
Right.
of the other things include promoting some of the events in the city that have been around for a while, but just haven't really had a lot of extra help in promoting and highlighting. For example, there's a 5K that happens on Old National every year, and it's in like its 10th year apparently. Who
Mhm.
knew?
Mm.
The Red Oak Arts Festival is an arts festival that's in the Red Oak district, which is Roosevelt Highway. It's in its fourth year, I believe, and helping to grow that event. I have lofty ideas for that, but just something as simple as just promoting that, just so people know that it's something available to do in our community that's not from where you live, and it's something that the economic development team is working on. And those are some of the short term goals. Is really we just getting more involved in the community, having more visibility because again, people don't know what a convention and visitors bureau is, and to let them know, hey, there's someone that's working for the city to promote the positive things, and I also live here, so I have a vested interest because anything that I'm doing has a direct impact on my own personal quality of life. So
Absolutely. And as you were talking, do you know what my my memories of a CVB were from Atlanta is
okay.
when we did have our family reunion is
Wow.
is I was a member, I think, of the chamber or something. Anyway, they gave us all just a bag full of
Like swag and all that.
flags.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, for
Yep.
and it was actually it was really good because, Atlanta to some is a really big city, and my
hmm
my family was coming from South Georgia, like
hmm
on the Georgia-Florida line, so it's real
hmm
deep south. And so it was almost like taking them from Atlanta to New York. They really felt like
hmm
they were in a new city. And so that's really the only, I would say, experience I've had with the CVB. But
hmm
now listening at what your involvement is and how you're helping the city and residents to learn about all the good things that's happening in the city, I am actually proud to see you in this space. First of all, because you and I have been neighbors before. So I
Yep.
know your passion, and I know that what's about to happen is some really big and great things. So I'm looking forward to hearing more. I've been hearing about what's happening in Red Oak, but I don't know the schedule.
hmm
What is the best way for us to keep up with what's happening, with especially maybe district by district or just
hmm
citywide?
Yes. So when you going back to your question about short term goals, one of my goals is to create a community calendar because we don't have one. We
This is
Every
true.
council person has their own calendar, but there is not currently one place where you can go and see. Even on the city's website, it may be a little bit challenging to get
It's
to.
challenging.
um
Mhm.
yeah, so that is my goal, to create a community calendar that will really give you just a snapshot of all the different things happening. And in a training I was at recently, one of my colleagues simply had a postcard. It just had a postcard of everything happening in the next like 6 months, just
Mm,
date by date, that went out to all of the residents. So something as simple as that. So that's what we're working on. I've had to rebuild a few things with the website. So that is one of my short-term goals, is to create a calendar that whenever you go to visit cityofsouthfultonga.com, again, that's visit
mhm.
cityofsouthfultonga.com, you'll have a community calendar. It's not there yet, but that's what I'm working on. And I'm going to have a mailing list as well. So again, my another goal is to create a mailing list that you can sign up for, and you'll get monthly emails um, for um, for everything that's happening, for that month in the city.
That's awesome. Um,
Hmm.
so we do have a question. How can
Hmm.
we get your contact information?
Okay.
How can visitors or citizens get in contact with you? Because Willie Davis is in here, and he made me just think of another group, um, the sororities and fraternities. Oh my God, they
Absolutely.
could
Yep.
really, have some really nice meetings
Yep.
at that hotel. Look, I am about to go on. As soon as we get off, I've got to find them in my Marriott portal so I can see,
Yeah.
I can use my Marriott rewards, my points.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking about that, Willie. So Willie Davis wanted to know, Mrs. Early, for
Hmm.
your contact information at the city. How can citizens or businesses get in contact with you?
Now, I just dropped my email in the chat. Now, does everybody see? Will they see it on Facebook?
They should see it. Do you see it? Oh, you
Okay.
put it in the private chat. So let me see if I
Oh, okay.
can.
If not, I can just tell you as well. But
Okay, sure.
I would. But it's my first name, Kathryn, at visit cityofsouthfultonga.com.
Okay.
Oh, yep. I
And
just saw you drop it in there too. Yep.
I did. And is there a
Hmm.
phone number in case can they reach out to you by phone
Yep.
yet?
My CVB cell is 770-891-2150.
All right, so I'm going to type that in too.
Okay.
And you can feel free to share if you have any information that you want to share in here, by all means, feel free to share it as, I guess, as you continue to work on building the calendar, because I'm going to just tell you, if I can just give you some of my thoughts on that calendar. I would just love
Sure.
to click on like Monday and see what's happening in the different areas throughout the city.
Hmm.
Or a week, something. If I said, okay, what's happening this week? I would love to just be able to, sort of like a Google Calendar,
Yep.
be able to see at an eye level view, like what's going on. Where can I take my kids
Hmm.
besides the, neighborhood park, which there's nothing wrong with
Right.
that. But because the parks are great, but what if I want to do something with them indoors?
Hmm.
And there's a clinic going on at Wolf Creek Golf Clinic for,
Yep.
golf course for kids. So it would be good to see that digitized for those of us that can, get online. I know you're going to have to
Hmm.
use the mail a lot,
Hmm.
because we do have a lot of seniors who need the
Hmm.
mail. But that's
Yep.
just my ask, is one
Yeah.
centralized place, because you're right. Right now, if you go to the city's website, the calendar is not, it's just a little, it can use a little help. And so a help from the
Yeah.
perspective of finding information, consolidating information, that
Hmm.
helps me as a citizen know what's going on. And, just a little FAQ. Hey, did you
Hmm.
know what CVB is for? Because we're
Yep.
saying it now, but I'm telling you, someone's
Right.
going to forget
Oh,
by tomorrow.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So, just some little tips and maybe guidance on how the CVB can be used. And like you said, as you continue to evolve, sharing the updates on your events would be helpful as well. And maybe even, oh,
Absolutely.
here's something else I thought about.
Hmm.
Spotlighting some hidden jewels
Okay, yeah,
in
that's a great idea.
the city of South Fulton. and maybe having a moment where they can come out and either tour the facilities and or just letting them know the hours of operation so that people can be aware of what's actually here. Because I only knew of one horse farm, but you mentioned that we have several, so
Hmm.
that's just something that came to the top of mind. um, so not to maybe delay or prolong our stream live or live
Hmm.
stream, I've really enjoyed us talking. I know we're kind of talking and chatting about some things that you may be planning. I don't
Hmm.
want to let the cat out the bag because I really can't wait to see see what's going to happen because I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
be
yeah.
there. Um, what would you say for citizens who would like to, if they want to open a business, are they coming through you, or you, like you said, are they going to the chamber first and then they're going to work their
Hmm.
way through the CVB to find out how they can get plugged in? Would you
Yeah,
say
so
that's
I am
pretty much?
really, I'm sorry, I'm really a relationship builder. I don't do anything with business licenses or anything like that.
Mhm.
That my
Okay.
function is really to connect, and to, be here as a resource. So once you got all of your licenses and all of the things that from the city that you need to open up your business,
Mhm.
my goal is, this is something we currently don't have, and I know I have all these goals, is to do a welcome packet for our new
Mhm.
businesses to let them know who their their other business owners are, and things that they can, uh, resources that are, as me as I can, however I can be a resource. And again, that's something that I thought of as I was going around meeting these new business owners, thinking, well, if I were a new business in the city, aside from the ribbon cutting and the grand opening kind of thing, to really be an additional liaison between them and the economic development office,
Mhm.
because if the economic development office is really the place kind of where they start, when they want to talk about bringing a business to the city to see if there's a need, if there's a space.
Mhm.
And our economic development team is phenomenal. And they have a brand new office on Old National Highway, 6385 Old National Highway is where the South Fulton Economic Development Office is. And it's a beautiful new office, right in the Walmart Plaza. Is it Walmart Plaza? LA
It's in
Fitness,
the
I'm
LA
sorry.
Fitness, the
Yes,
LA
LA
Fitness
Fitness
Plaza.
Plaza.
Because y'all,
Yes.
it's so pretty.
It's beautiful. It is beautiful. And they do a ton of amazing things. So they're working very diligently to, change the narrative of the old National District, because we all knew, we all know that the history of Old Nat is, even as a transplant, I know the history of Old Nat and its reputation. So they're working very hard to change that narrative and get the businesses involved. Shameless plug, I go to the Black owned gym that's on Old National Highway. And if you don't know, you should check it out. It's Fit Gym. They're a part of the Old
Mm,
National Merchants Association. Um,
okay.
and and so, same thing with Roosevelt Highway and the Red Oak District. They're working very hard and doing some amazing things to really change the narrative of the area. So Artie Jones and his team are phenomenal, and we work very closely to really uplift the city and make some tremendous changes. So just to kind of let you all know, if you don't know, Artie Jones came from College Park, and if you spend any time at all on Main Street in College Park, that was Artie Jones. He had a lot to do with Main Street. So the goal is that we extend that right on into the city of South Fulton, because why not? Right? Why wouldn't we
Why
want
not?
to have the same types of small businesses, boutique restaurants, and small business owners, minority business owners right along Roosevelt Highway? We have the infrastructure in place and we have the space. We just have to have the vision. So yeah. So
And
I am excited.
what I love about what's happening, if you all haven't noticed, is we have a lot of authenticity in our
Mhm.
city. We have a
Mhm.
lot of businesses that you will not find anywhere else,
Mhm.
and they are mostly Black owned, and that
Mhm.
is, we're not an exclusive city.
Yep.
We're not excluding anyone. I'm just
Right.
sharing that it hasn't always been easy for us to have businesses.
That's
So
very
that
true.
is why it is a note of mention to
Mm-hmm.
say that these businesses are Black owned,
Yep.
and you're not going to find them. So when I hear people who have mentioned in the past, why don't we bring up Papa Do's? Well, what if we have a different type of restaurant that's
Mm-hmm.
similar to Papa Do's that serves seafood, but it's on a whole nother,
Yep.
scale, or it's on
Yeah.
a whole nother level, and it
Mm-hmm.
gives you a little, a little different vibe than
A
Papa Do's.
different flavor. And
You can
like you
go
said,
to
in the you can go to Papa Do's anywhere. Yeah.
you
Mm-hmm.
can go to Papa Do's anywhere in any city, but when you
Yep.
come to the city of South Fulton,
Mm-hmm.
I see it becoming a city that you won't be able to find these restaurants anywhere else or
Yep.
these businesses. And
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to exercise a lot of patience. We have to be very careful with what we're sharing when it comes to social media and
Yep.
how we're portraying the city outside of
Mm-hmm.
the good things that's happening, as well as in continuing to encourage citizens to open
Mm-hmm.
businesses
Mm-hmm.
and also to patronize the businesses out here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's I just wanted to share that because it seems to be evolving. I can honestly tell you I spend probably more time in districts 1, 2, 3,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes 4. Sometimes I find myself in district, I want to say 6,
Mm-hmm.
if that's where the new economic development center is in. And I do see it changing a little bit, but
It's
there's
slow.
it's
Mm-hmm.
it's a little slow. But
Mm-hmm.
listen, it took Rome wasn't built in a day, and
That's
I think
right.
that's the misconception about the new city is everything should
Yep.
be like Atlanta.
Yep.
But this is not ever going to be a city like Atlanta. You won't see
Nope.
skyscraper buildings. You will
Nope.
not find, certain attributes that Atlanta has because we're just a completely different city. So we really
Mm-hmm.
can't compare an
Yep.
apple and orange situation. And what we have to
Mm-hmm.
do is, rely on people like yourselves to help facilitate what's actually coming to the city, help us to learn and figure out how we can utilize a lot of the facilities
Yep.
that we have right here in our city instead of letting another city be the city of choice.
Yep, I agree. And the thing that I'm learning about comparable cities like your East Point, like Macon, Georgia, for example, all these smaller cities, they really highlight and focus on the things that they do well. They don't try and portray themselves to be something else.
Mhm.
They use what they have and they do those things very, very well. And to kind of a segue into one of the other things that I'm learning is, you know, if people enjoy where they live, people will encourage other people to come visit where they live, right? So,
Right.
what are the things that you, as a resident, and I'm speaking to the community obviously at large, what are the things that you would like to see? And tell us, tell me, let me know. It doesn't mean that it'll happen overnight necessarily, but if there's enough people saying, hey, we want I don't know, a park. And like I heard someone say recently, they wanted the trail extended behind Wolf Creek Library. So
Mm.
a couple of things need to happen. First, you have to use it. It's fine to say that I want the trail extended, but enough people have to use it, right?
Mhm.
And what part of my job is to say, okay, if I'm hearing enough people, they're like, oh, I want these trails extended, then we can do things like collecting data on, well, who is actually using it and how often are they using it? Does it
Mhm.
justify looking into extending the trail, right? And voicing those concerns. So that's part of my job as well, is to be able to collect data on usage of our various assets to see if it justifies improvements or enhancements of any kind.
Right.
So it's not just one person saying, oh, we need to do X, Y, and Z. You actually, that people have to be involved. And if I say, hey, I'm sending out this survey, or you got to take the survey. you know um, Please follow the Visit City of South Fulton Facebook page and Instagram. Please, that it would be very helpful to help what's happening. And I'm on there a lot, going live and posting as much as I
Okay.
can.
And what
So
is it
please
again?
do that as well.
Is it Biddy
So the
Visit?
Facebook page, hmm visit City of South Fulton. Yep.
Okay. All
And
right.
then Instagram is at visit City of South Fulton GA. So just like
Okay.
the end of my email. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All
So
right. Because
follow
I
those
wasn't even
pages
aware
as
of that
well.
myself.
Yep. And that's why I
Okay. I
mentioned
will
it again.
definitely follow, and then I'll make a separate
People.
post about those two.
Okay, perfect. That would be appreciated. Yeah. So, and I did see someone text me. So whoever texted me, I saw the message, but I didn't want to check it because I am on my phone because I had some technical difficulties with my laptop. So I will respond to you once we're off. I just didn't want them to think that I didn't, see it. Whoever sent me a text message.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Kathryn, is there anything that you would like to maybe give as a recap? I've enjoyed having you. You've given me a wealth. I've learned even more about the city. I thought I knew. I thought I already,
Yeah.
had a
You're
little
one of
bit.
the experts though. You're one of the experts.
Well,
Um,
but I learned
so
so much more tonight. So, and then I didn't even know about the trail. When you mentioned it, I was thinking, where is the trail? Like,
right
I
behind
don't
Wolf
even.
Creek. It's probably a mile long, right behind Wolf Creek Library. Yep.
Okay, yeah,
You
I
can
can't
park
even
right in the
put that
front of
in
the
my mind.
library. And if you park right in front, there's a trail, there's a walkway that you kind of walk down and onto the trail, and it's about a mile long. And it
Interesting.
walks right into the amphitheaters, kind of like into their driveway into the amphitheater.
You know what? Maybe we should plan a walk.
That would be great. Let's do it.
Maybe we should plan a walk because Lord knows I need to.
Let's do
We
it.
need to do exercise. So you let me know, like
Okay.
on a good sunny day, not too hot though. Uh,
Trust me, no, but it's a lot of tree cover, so it's not even really. It's not.
really,
Yeah, it's a really nice trail.
it's
It
a
really
nice
is.
trail. We get to see some of the nature. Yeah, I would love to do
hmm
that. So
Yeah,
let me
let's
know
do it.
when,
Okay,
and I will plan to. I know I'll plan to be there, and I'll bring my mom and some
that
family
sounds
members
great.
along with me. And then that
Yep.
way, I can then come back and say, I've actually been on the trail.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So to go back to, with as far as what you were asking, to
Mhm.
recap, like I said, the short-term goals will be to really connect with the community. So that means a mailing list, that means the community calendar that's coming. If any of you came to Taste of Soul Food and you signed up for any of my raffles, that was the beginning of our mailing list. So just be patient because I am a team of one. So keep that in mind, people. But I'm very passionate and I have the full support of the board of directors. And I'm very excited because again, I live in the community. So this is something that's very, very close to my heart. But just stay tuned for more on Facebook and on Instagram. You'll see all the different things that we're having that are happening in the city.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, I'm super excited to learn more about the City of South Fulton's Convention and Visitors Bureau. And perhaps, this is, you can help me kick off my summer series
Okay,
where
cool.
I'm planning to bring guests on inside of the Safer Communities community to share information so that we can all learn something new about the
Mm-hmm.
city of South Fulton and
Yep.
spread the word and or information. So thank you for being my first guest. And I
Yay, no
look
problem.
forward to, I'm sure I'll see you somewhere out in the community
In
soon.
the community for sure. And I hope that you'll have me again very soon, so we can keep the folks updated on what's
I think we
happening.
should. I think we should check back in maybe 30, 40, 45
Yep.
days down the road just to
Yep.
kind of check in and see, what may be new or what
Yep.
new businesses have come about that we may not know about. So let's
Yep.
definitely do that at some point. And again, thank you for sharing more information with the residents about what's good and what's happening right here in the city of South Fulton.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Again, if anybody wants to text me or call me, 770-891-2150, or Kathryn, my first name, spelled Kathryn, at visit cityofsouthfultonga.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Catherine, for coming on tonight.
My pleasure.
And I hope everyone has learned a little bit more about what the city of South Fulton has to offer right now, but there is definitely more to come.
Absolutely. Thank
All
you.
right. Have a good night.
You too.